Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Omen Cross, and I invite each and every one of you to pull up a chair and a plate and sit down for today's heaping helping of Crossing and Waffles. It's season 2. We've been gone, and people have been listening while we were gone.
Which is a surprise.
Yeah. Definitely a surprise. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, as you can hear, I'm not alone. I'd like to introduce my co-host, the lovely, the talented, spissin' Emma Cross, everybody.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back.
So, we took a break. There was a good lot of reasons, personal reasons, and, just taking the time to actually watch for longer than half a second what's going on and see the patterns. I know most news and all that, it's designed to be put out all the time, every day or every week or everything on a certain time frame, and so they only get so much of the picture at a time.
No time to analyze anything.
But not us.
But
I got nothing but time to analyze shit. So, season 2. It's gonna be a little bit different. I'm sure you might be able to hear some of that already. And it's because season 1 was kind of a test. Not just a test in waters to see whether or not anybody was going to listen.
But a test for us, practice run. Do a whole season, you get the feel for it, see where you want to go, what direction you're going to take, and well, we're not happy.
Oh, not happy doesn't even begin to discuss. As you can see by the graphic, today's episode, A World on Fire, is literal and figurative. That's the wonder of it. As it stands right now, the world is on fire, and figuratively is also on fire.
So we're going to break it down in a few little segments as usual.
Before that, we got to talk about sponsors.
Sponsors?
Yeah, because while we don't have monetization, while we don't have a Patreon account, there are still some people that decided that they could not tolerate the situation we were in and things that were going on with us, and they decided to help us. Without their aid, we wouldn't be recording this right now.
Yes.
And we wouldn't be recording anything that's done after this if there's more. So, before anything else, I'd like to go ahead and shout out those sponsors who made it so that we could record this episode today. I need to throw a shout out to Mike and Patty's Christian Connection. They help save souls because you can't. And then I'd also like to throw a shout out to the Siebenauer Lawn Service. Their help, and you will have the most fire lawn in town. I guarantee it.
All right, there's one more.
Yeah. Our newest sponsor. Just sponsored the other day. And that'd be the Toya Satellite Service. We love Toya Satellite Service, all right, because they always got space for you.
All right, moving on.
And one more thing. We got to talk about non-sponsored things, right? Because I hear a lot of people getting sponsorship deals out there.
No.
And a lot of them don't deserve it. So,
No.
What? So, because I was inspired by another YouTuber who did the same thing actually because he wanted the sponsorship, I'm going to do it not because I want the sponsorship, but just as a funny joke. Because I don't have sponsors like that of any kind. I'm not sponsored by Skillshare or fucking anything. So, I don't have those kinds of sponsors, but I find that funny.
But we do have sponsors.
Yes, we have people sponsors. We don't have corporate sponsors.
But
we don't have conglomerate sponsors.
Important.
Yes, I know. That's why Patreon exists, is because people sponsors are not only more reliable, but more important than corporate sponsors. But, yes, I've seen all the commercials for a game that I actually play. I don't think I need to speak its name, because if I did, I'd just be saying the same thing as 500,000 other YouTubers. But, I'd say some of them are definitely some legendary commercials. There's a couple that some of my favorite YouTubers do really good on this subject, but I'm not sponsored, so I'm not saying anything. Anyway, now that we've got all that out of the way, we start season 2 of World on Fire.
Pardon the cat. She's part of the episode today. She's very mouthy.
Yeah, don't mind her. She's everywhere around somewhere, aren't you?
Oh, no, she doesn't want to speak.
So, a world on fire. Let's start with the easy part, right? The world actually literally being on fire.
Well, Arizona's on fire. I know that.
So, we're at about that time of year. A lot of you'd say, oh, well, that's not unexpected. We have fires every summer. That's true, but as we continue to have these fires every summer, the forests we used to have aren't really as much there anymore. What's left is a burnout shell. And it takes a long time for that to grow back.
Well, the fires are increasing over the years.
Well, I mean, they just keep getting worse as everything in the environment keeps getting worse. The more poisons equals more fires equals less trees. Less trees equals less oxygen in the air equals bad day for us.
Well, the fires will cook us long before then.
Well, not everybody lives near trees anymore.
That's not necessarily true. There's still trees.
The forests will burn down, and the cities built around those forests will definitely probably burn down.
Arizona is mostly desert right now anyway. So it just makes the problems even worse.
And I'm sure about half our West Coast will join it in being on fire by the end of the year from either normal environmental problems like Washington State always seems to have, or another PG&E accident like California always seems to have.
Well, in California we always have the Santa Ana winds, and that produces fire down there every year. It's been like that since I was a kid.
So,
but it seems like they've only gotten worse each and every year.
Yeah. So this is the literal world on fire as it stands right now, preparing for yet another summer with hundreds, thousands, millions of people being forced out of their homes, possibly taking injuries, dying because of fires that not only were expected, but nobody did anything about until everything was on fire. Well, if it happens every year, I mean, how long does it take you to go, okay, this is a problem?
Because they're increasing they're getting stronger every year. It gets harder and harder to prepare for that.
So, yay, part 1. The world is figuratively going to also be on fire here in part 2, because we're going to discuss everything generally that's been going on since our last episode, which was a good few months ago.
It was the start of COVID.
I mean, COVID had been going for a minute, and we had been screwed because of it, but now things have gotten worse. And I just sat and watched, and I thought to myself, they cannot possibly be this retarded.
Well, apparently they are.
Okay, so let's talk bullet points, right? Bullet points of everything since COVID-19. Pandemic, lockdown. Okay, great. Everybody went through what I like to refer to as prison syndrome, where they were locked up for longer than, say, a month, couldn't go out, didn't have anywhere to go if they wanted to go out, really.
Then the doors opened.
And then the doors flew open. And everybody that had spent every day thinking, oh, I can't wait to get out, I gotta go do something with my time, they immediately flooded out. And once the doors flew open and people flooded out, a lot of them forgot the things they were upset about when the doors were locked in the first place. And one of the reasons they forgot is because somewhere in the middle of all this, we went back to, the doors are open, let's start letting cops kill people again.
And then Black Lives Matter started, yet again. You know, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I'm not saying either side of that, because both sides are flawed in the fact that there's nothing wrong with the movement to create a world where we don't need movements like that. where there is equality of sex, of race, of religion, of creed. And so we don't need a movement to determine whether or not one group of lives needs to matter or not. They all should matter. But it's not in the way all lives matter people say it, because that's just an excuse for arrogant cocksuckers to say your movement is bullshit and we don't like it. That's all that is, and that's all it was turned into. It's just a response. Somebody says Black Lives Matter, and then somebody else goes, well, all lives matter.
Well, it's like, yeah, no shit, but...
Yeah, but all lives aren't being continuously ground into the dirt on a daily basis.
Yeah, fun fact, everybody likes to tote around the 13th Amendment abolished slavery. Well, it fucking didn't, ladies and gentlemen. There is a clause, a very small clause that says if you commit a crime and are incarcerated, that is basically legal slavery. So, put two and two to fucking together.
Yep, here we are, in a place where they can arrest you, throw you in prison, and then tell you that they're going to let you out faster if you do this work for them for basically nothing.
Yep, pennies on the fucking dollar.
And while they're doing this to you, they're going to charge you, what? Triple to up to 6 times the value of everything, all the way down to fucking a package of ramen noodles, just because that's the only way you can get those things when you're in prison. And the only way you can get the money for those things is to have your family and loved ones go put money on an account by using their own money and credit and debit cards, because that's the only way it works now.
To get basic fucking...
Just to get... You want an extra bar of soap? You want a pen and some extra paper so you can write to your family because the shit they gave you when you did intake is gone now and they ain't giving you no more? Do you want anything? Because that's what's going to cost you money while you're in prison. And what? You're working for 38 cents an hour, maybe less. And they're trying to take that away. They're trying to make it so that they don't have to pay shit to have prisoners do all their work for them. And some people go, well, they earn their spot. That's not always true. Remember that the population of a prison is not all murderers, rapists, and child molesters.
Some it's just people caught on suspicion of having drugs.
Yeah.
Or
some it's just being black in the wrong neighborhood.
Exactly. Or Mexican in the wrong neighborhood. Or some... It's just fucking fucked off on so many angles. And I can't even begin to elaborate what is going on in this world and why we fucking support this shit. Why we're not all up in arms against this.
Yeah. So what we're dealing with at the end of it is not about whose lives matter. It's a matter of justice, because justice exists for all human beings, no matter who they are. The problem is that we live in a world now, I'm sure you all figured this out, the smart ones, who's probably the only people listening to this, but they put blind statues of justice out in front of their courthouses for a reason. To show you that their justice is blind. Not blind to color, obviously. Blind to what justice is. All those courts are used to do is hold down people that the system does not approve of, and allow the people the system does approve of to get away with anything. You know, those statues, you want to rip some statues down? Rip the blind statues of justice down from the front of every courthouse and tell them, we're tired of justice being blind. We want justice to mean something.
That leads us into our next topic about tearing down statues.
Yeah! And they went straight. They said, you know what? We're going to protest. We're going to burn some shit down. Then for a second, maybe they thought about it. Maybe they said, you know what? We don't need to burn down the suburbs. That doesn't do us any good. That's not who we're mad at.
Well, at least
we're mad at racists throughout history. We're mad at slave owners throughout history. We're mad at the people who said this was okay.
Well, the fact that the statues even exist glorifies it.
Right.
And for that very reason, they need to be torn down.
I'm not arguing that. I'd say some of them do better in like an outdoor museum where kids could be shown the flaws in our history and how we could learn from them.
Not even because that still glorifies it.
If you destroy them, then eventually it's forgotten. Look at everything that's happened throughout our history. Yeah, but they don't tell those. The books are being thrown away.
See, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot fucking wrong, and each thing leads us into the next thread.
Yeah, see, now we're going straight from they ripped down statues to, okay, we're going to reopen because of COVID, but they threw a bunch of the books away. They didn't throw away the fictional novels. They threw away a bunch of nonfiction stories that they didn't want people to read anymore.
Of history. So again, if you're talking about saving history, then...
Why don't you go check your public school's dumpster and find some of it?
You know, history is supposed to be preserved in books. That's why we fucking have the written language. You know, it's already obscure enough, and yet here we are fucking... Oh my God, blatantly throwing away books where this knowledge is supposed to be put.
In 1984, the way that they got rid of knowledge was they were burning the books. They made you hate the books.
Same thing as Fahrenheit 451.
In this one, they're not making you hate the books. They're just throwing them away behind your back.
And not only that, but they have systematically made people want to not read.
Yep. You ask most people now, nobody reads. Everybody only stares at what's on their phone. Facebook and Twitter is about the extent of what they can read, and they can't even read a Facebook post of more than about a Twitter post worth of characters.
120.
The attention span of the average human being has come to about a second and a half. So they're so distracted they can't think anymore.
You know, you wonder what happened that led up to a post-apocalyptic world. Well, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. We're fucking living in it. You know, when you get to the point where you're throwing away books and deliberately oppressing people to the point where they're not even fucking hiding it anymore.
Yep, let's go through stages, right? Stage 1, when they locked us all down the first time, right? All of a sudden, all these 5G towers went up as essential work, apparently. When only essential businesses were allowed to be run, all of a sudden, all the 5G towers went up, disguised as trees and a bunch of other shit for no reason. Real essential, right? Then they tried to throw the doors open. People went out. Everything was fine for, say, maybe a month. Then they started reaching a point where people start going too far. They say, well, you know what? We're going to go have a beach party and we're all going to lick each other.
Which is just stupid.
Yes! There's a difference. There's two sides of stupid when it comes to this pandemic thing. There's the crazy person who literally wears the mask until they have jumped in the shower, and then as soon as they jump out of the shower, they put the mask back on. The mask that's not even chemically rated to stop the particles of COVID-19 from entering your lungs in the first fucking place.
And then you got the extreme.
And then you got the extreme other side. That's the idiot that wants to get 5,000 people together on a beach and have them all touch one another.
Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
You know, you got two sides of stupid here, and then you got the rest of us trapped in the middle.
You know,
and so they threw the doors open, and the two sides of stupid have now argued and retarded us to a point where it's almost time to shut the doors in some places again. Like Florida. Apparently Florida may be due to shut its doors again.
Apparently Washington is headed that way too.
So, we're about to be back where we were 6 months ago.
But that also leads the economy in even worse... Well, people, you know, fuck the economy. It's going to fall anyway. That's capitalism.
Yeah.
But these people that are trying to fucking... We're already on fucking edge as it was. And then to have the doors reclose... And there's no fucking back door. How are you supposed to support these fucking people? You're just gonna send them to be homeless and fucking... It just makes the situation even worse.
Okay, so now let's add in what I like to call step 2. Now we're reaching that point where we're not sure if the doors are gonna be open or closed anymore. And now all of a sudden, you know, step 1, while essential businesses were the only things that could move and they erected the towers...
We're moving towards cashless society.
Yeah, now we're in step 2, where all of a sudden, because of COVID-19, now we have no coins. All right, now there's no coins. All the stores want to buy back your coins, and you have to start using cards everywhere. Which for most people, they don't care. They do that anyway. But let me give you a little insight here. Okay? You have a tower that is designed to track data from an electronic signal that's now in place generally everywhere. The next thing is, the only way you're going to be able to pay for anything is with something with a fucking chip in it.
Yep.
So what's step 3, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to tell you. Step 3 is when they take that chip out of the card and stick it in your hand. It's already been tested. They've already been doing it in other countries, making it work, finding out how it works and what its flaws are. You all know what I'm talking about. Nobody likes to talk about it. Every term it's ever used to describe this point in time basically is monstrous. Because I'm not going to claim one person's belief over another in this scenario. I'm going to say that in a book that supposedly was written thousands of years ago, they talked about people stupid enough to do this.
Well, it wasn't just that book. It was multiple books.
Yeah, and every book thereafter, they kept referring to it. The stupidity of what it would take for somebody to allow any organization, any entity to get so big that it thought it had the right to track, identify, and steal every moment from the life of every single person. Because I'll tell you straight up, once they put that chip in your hand, they know everywhere you go, they know everything you buy, they know everything you do, and they can find out every person that you interact with.
And not only that, but they also have your genetic information.
Yep.
They
Everybody
know who
be
you
doing
are down to the
be doing
genetic
all
level.
this testing. I'm telling you, not every version, but a lot of them, they're keeping that genetic information because it's going to go on that same chip that all your bank account information.
Why else would they push so hard for this? I mean, what logic does it make? Like, what the fuck? We don't do this heavy testing for the flu. We didn't do it for SARS. We didn't do it for MERS. We didn't do it for any of the new zootonic viruses that have emerged within the past decade. What makes COVID so fucking special that it needs this much goddamn testing?
Well, because people are scared. I thought it was funny. I hear there's fucking bubonic plague coming back. Let's do it. You want to know a real plague? You want to know a disease you should be scared of? Let the bubonic plague rear its ugly fucking head amidst a bunch of people who can't stop licking doorknobs. Let's see how many bodies you can take rotting in the street before you get sick of it.
You know, I'm not saying I wish the bubonic plague would come back, but ladies and gentlemen, you need to wake the fuck up. Start thinking critically. And quit criticizing the people that are questioning this, because you have to understand, it's not because we don't like science. No, I like science.
I like science. Let's talk science. Just for a quick second, right? Until every man, woman, and child on this planet has access to a full medical grade mask that will actually prevent the spread of COVID-19, all this arguing over wearing masks versus not wearing masks is just a bunch of dick measuring.
Well, not only that, but there's been several epidemiologists that said this whole thing was fucking stupid. And the reason being is, you have to understand, academia has been bought out for a long fucking time. So there's even an agenda in science. So you have to go into everything that you read, whether it be from historians, scientists, everywhere. So when there's a few that are like trying to say, hey, look, we should not be doing this because it's not really, science hasn't proven this is really a good idea, and they're burying this shit over the, underneath all this, oh, you need to wear a mask, you need to wear a mask. But why? If science doesn't truly prove it, and they have evidence on boxes that says it doesn't protect against this. So
and that's the point. If the mask is the issue, and everybody needed to wear the mask, and that in and of itself would stop the spread of COVID-19, if that were the case, then everybody needs the same medical quality mask that will prevent the spread of disease and prevent you from both breathing it out if you have it and in if you don't. Not these cheap-ass paper pieces of shit that they're handing out to people and saying, you got to put this on or you can't shop here. That does nothing other than make an illusion and make people have something to argue about.
It's social engineering. They're conditioning you to believe one thing.
Yep. You want to talk about conditioning? Think about in the last 6 months how much you've been conditioned to listen to what Walmart tells you to do.
Or how much your media tells you to do, how afraid you need to be.
No, fuck them. Let's talk just about that. How many times have you had to stand in a nice long line 6 feet apart and listen to a speaker tell you what you're going to do at Walmart before you even walked in the door?
Oh yeah, I hated that as soon as they started that bullshit.
You know, how much have we all become conditioned to just giving in and accepting the status quo?
That's their new slogan, the new normal. I remember that. Everybody's talking about that. This is the new normal, ladies and gentlemen. No, the fuck it's not. It's only the new normal if we fucking allow it.
Am I saying you shouldn't wear a mask? No, not really. Am I saying you should wear a mask? No, not really. Again, it really depends on whether you have a mask that actually does anything. I'm poor. I live in a car. The only mask I can afford is a bandana, which meets all the standards for every store. But if I were actually sick, which I haven't been this whole time, she hasn't been this whole time, but if we were actually sick, it wouldn't do a damn thing. If I breathe, if I cough, every particle of anything nasty in there would make it straight through that piece of cloth. Just like 90% of the masks that people are wearing right now because they're fashionable or because they have to or because that's just the way it is now. It's not doing much of anything in 90% of cases. So all you're doing is lip service. It's like most Christians who claim to be Christian but act totally different 90% of the time. Yep. Just not on Sundays.
And if you're not doing your research, you fucking should be, because this shit is easily attainable.
Yep. And they're conditioning you to get used to doing even the dumbest of things they tell you to. So don't be surprised, if this all gets locked down again. Don't be surprised if all of a sudden now there is no coins anymore. Now you either pay an even dollar amount or you pay by card. And then once the dollars are gone, for most people, and everybody's paying by card, then they come to you and say, hey, we're changing the way money works. You're going to have to put it on this thing and stick it in the back of your hand.
I'm not doubting the existence of COVID, but the
what they're doing with it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's as if the people in charge, our political leaders, and we're not just talking about the president, we're talking about the congressmen and women, we're talking about all the motherfuckers in the house. We're talking about everybody down to every goddamn city mayor, every fucking state leader, and everybody in between who has now decided that every opportunity that they can get between now and apparently the end of the world, which if we keep fucking around like this could be any day now,
they're going to grab seeds.
They're just going to keep taking shit, and they're going to take it from as many people as they can, and they're going to take as much as they can, because...
as fast as they can.
Yeah, here's the thing. They said to you, oh my God, we gave you all a stimulus check. Aren't we nice? Yeah.
Meanwhile, they took trillions.
After you gave rich people 10 times easy that amount of what you gave everybody, then you went ahead and gave us a little bit. And then... as we were all out of work, you kept making excuses. And you said, well, we'll just wait and see how this is going to go. Wait and see? Wait and see a job market where people are literally ready to stab each other over a motherfucking job at Walmart. Because people are losing their homes. Because that rental assistance shit didn't last forever.
No, they're getting ready to start their eviction process again.
Then they want to bitch, oh, these people have been on unemployment this whole time. Well, guess what? I wasn't. She wasn't. We ain't collect no fucking $600 a month.
And even still, if you did collect that, you should be wondering why the fuck your corporation wasn't paying you a decent fucking wage in the first goddamn place.
And then let's talk about all the quote-unquote heroes, the essential workers, that as soon as they got the opportunity to open the doors even the slightest bit, they were like, you know what, fuck you people, it's normal again. You're not heroes anymore. We're going back to paying you like shit and treating you like shit. Matter of fact, you're going to have to show up for work early every day because we're going to test you for COVID-19 before you walk in the door. So come to work an extra half an hour early that you're not getting paid for. And you ain't getting shit. And those are your heroes. Those are your essential workers. This is what you've allowed them to be treated like. And you wonder why nobody wants anything to do with anybody anymore. I got so many problems with the world the way it is right now. You got protesters going out doing some things that are legitimate and then misdirecting and attacking too much shit that's wrong.
Yeah, I heard they went after in the suburbs, and I'm like, the suburbs didn't do nothing.
Started a meme, that one around St. Louis, that white couple that They came to protest on their lawn, and like true old people, they came out with guns and were like, "You kids get the fuck off my lawn!"
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a meme now. That shit's meme worthy.
I know, but the way you said it was...
It's true, though. It's two old-ass white people. You know that's exactly how they responded. He came out with a shotgun, and she had a fucking semi-automatic rifle, and they were like, "You kids get the fuck off our lawn!"
And justifiably so. Somebody came on my lawn.
Talking about burning my house down. You be getting the fuck off my lawn, too.
Go take
I don't
that...
have a lawn, but if you came to my house to burn my lawn down and my house down, you'd be getting the fuck up off my lawn.
Go take that shit where it belongs, to fucking Congress.
Yeah, take that shit. You're ripping down statues. Like I said, go rip down the blind statues of justice. Make justice see straight again. And if you have displeasure, focus it on the people you deserve to have displeasure at. Focus it on the politicians that haven't done shit for you except turn their back on you.
Yeah, because remember, these are statues. They're just symbols. You know?
Symbols work best when seen. Even if it's to understand that people are still fucked up and need to change.
And there's nothing wrong with tearing down an old symbol.
No,
especially if it doesn't stand for what it should anymore.
Well, a lot of them statues stood for things that shouldn't have existed in the first place.
Exactly, but you know,
but
slavery has existed for
some of them,
a long time. But
some of them, it's just the way that they were built and the design of them just has a nasty connotation that it shouldn't.
Well,
like I remember, I'm from Illinois, and there's a statue of Lincoln that's real nasty like that. Like Lincoln is supposed to be the hero of black people. Why is there a statue of Lincoln with black people like on their knees next to him like dogs? That's not his fault. It's the person who fucking made the statue.
A lot of those statues were made during Jim Crow laws.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a form of white supremacy. It was asserting their dominance.
You know, and one shouldn't have to correlate to the other. I remember having to take the trips to the places where Lincoln was born and where all that stuff happened in his history before he became president and all that, because we had to as kids in Illinois when I was young. That was a field trip you didn't get a choice on. You were going. Because there would be a test on this subject matter afterward. Because it's important Illinois history.
Well, kids should learn history.
And that's fine. But what
and
I'm
they
saying
should
is,
also learn the truest
when you see
both
that
the
side
good
of it,
and the bad and the fucking ugly, because that's how you paint a clear picture of history. You know, there is a channel on YouTube. It was, oh geez, now I can't even remember. It was called Ask a Slave. That's what it was. And a lot of people don't understand what slavery was like. And they're like, why would you, because the girl is a black girl, they're like, why would you portray a slave? And she's like, well, it's a part of history. You know, it's a form of teaching people what it was like.
You know, I remember when I was a kid and teachers used to actually like do skits, bring in costumes, and even sometimes have the kids help act them out to help make a lesson understandable in ways more than just words on a piece of paper. And there's a difference in the way that you teach people. Now it seems it's okay because we've all been locked up and parents have been locked up with their kids so long they're probably about to lose their minds now, that they'd basically do anything to send them back to school, even if that meant they were in danger. Because that's basically what the people that are worried about COVID are saying. We can't go to the beach, but send the kids back to school in that same building. How is that ever going to be safe?
But we were talking about history. And
yes, and now what are they going to teach the kids if they're throwing all the old books away?
Whatever history they want to fucking create.
Exactly, and they've already shown that the people who are writing these history books now, the majority of them,
they're trying to get rid of the Trail of Tears, a bunch of Indian massacres, watering down and
they're basically glossing straight over the slavery part of history.
Oh yeah, trying to gloss over the atrocities that were committed. Oh my God, like...
The answer in school now for the question, what was the Civil War about, is states' rights.
No, it was not. It was about slavery. Get it right, ladies and gentlemen.
So remember, as you send your kids back to school because you finally get to get rid of them for a little while, not only could you be putting them at risk of ending up sick, if that's a thing that concerns you, But you also put them at risk of learning absolutely nothing but a load of bullshit.
Yep.
Common Core math and Common Core history.
A watered down, bastardized form of
what the truth
horse
is.
Shit. No.
And that's ridiculous. So, what all has happened since the pandemic started? Well, basically, our lives have begun to fall apart. Now the world's on fire. Because everything we thought we held dear, it seems like, is maybe a step away from being destroyed. Because, who knows, at any point, yet another fucking black person could be killed for no reason by the police. And another city could be on fire.
It's not just black people, Latinos
Yet
get
another
shot.
fucking political decision could make a group of people lose their homes, their livelihoods, and the way that they take care of their families. That could cause yet another city to be on fire.
Well, let's be clear. Police brutalize all races.
Yes, but again, the ratios are wrong.
Yeah,
like
I know,
if police were going to
fucking
beat up
wrong.
on everybody at the same equal rate, it'd still be wrong, but at least it would be fairly wrong.
I know the numbers are skewed.
The numbers right now are way out of fucking balance. All
Dude,
right,
I fucking
you're
know.
just talking about the number of white people assaulted being like 1%. The number of black people assaulted being like 85%. This is ridiculous.
Those are false numbers, but they're just...
Yeah, I'm just making an example, but y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean, and you know I'm right, too. The numbers might not be exact, but they're also correct.
There's a severe
we can have rednecks that decide, I don't want to stay locked up, to just parade around in front of a courthouse with an automatic rifle, and that is okay, and he doesn't get beat up. But this random guy over here that you mistook for somebody that fucking robbed a gas station 50 miles away, and you beat him to death, that seems a little inappropriate.
Just a little.
Just a bit.
Little.
Just a bit. So I'm on the side of the protesters. I just think they need somebody that's got some strategy, somebody that can take what their justifiable rage is and show them how to direct it at who deserves it.
I don't think it's necessarily the protesters. I think there's infiltrators.
No, the infiltrators are the ones that just run into the random target, that just try to burn down businesses so that the news can say that the rioters are out of hand and they're burning all this stuff down.
Yeah, because it's been proven that the CIA, the FBI,
and a bunch of the rich families actually have people that go down there and say, hey, here's $100, go bust into that Target and burn it down.
That's known knowledge, ladies.
It's known knowns. It's not a known unknown. It's not an unknown unknown. It's a known known. You know that shit. You may not want to admit it to yourself, but you do know.
Well, how do you think they took the Black Panthers out?
Yep, Black Panthers got took out that way. Why wouldn't they try to do it with the next great black uprising?
Well, apparently the rumors are that George Soros actually funds BLM.
Well, that's because that movement in and of itself is not wrong. It's just not right.
Well, George Soros is a piece of shit.
Well, it's not even about just Soros. Yes, he's a piece of shit. That's undeniable, but it's not just about him. All right? It's about... I saw an old Boondocks episode that made a joke about this, but this is the actual reality of the fact. If you were able to bring back MLK for one day, and you presented to him the Black Lives Matter movement, he would turn his back on you and walk out. Because he'd say all you were doing is inciting more problems and not trying to solve anything.
I don't think that's necessarily true, because even towards the end, he was getting quite angry because nothing was getting done.
True. Peace is hard. Peace is a hard route. War is also a hard route when you're fighting all the wrong things.
Well, if you're going to talk about revolutions and shit like that, no revolution has ever been peaceful. None. I don't know where people say that peaceful protest gets things done. I'm like, yeah, maybe in the short term, but in the long term, if you know that there is too much corruption all the way down to its roots, sometimes you gotta fucking... You gotta...
Anyway. So, sorry, cat issues. Anyway.
Yeah, very distracting. I completely lost my train of thought.
So yeah, world's on fire. And who do we hold responsible for this? Should we hold each other responsible for this? Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit because we keep letting it happen. You know, I'm not to say that sitting here in this car that I'm able to affect much. But I'll tell you an interesting story. Last night, as we tried to sleep, somebody tried to break into this car. Because there's people in the area I stay in that are just randomly going by, seeing if doors are unlocked, breaking into cars and fucking stealing shit. And I'm going to tell you another honest part of this story. After it happened and this person ran off, I got dressed and armed myself and I went walking around for a minute to see if I could find this person, to have a conversation with them. A very serious conversation about why you don't need to be out stealing from people. Because we ourselves are not the enemy. We shouldn't be fighting and stealing from each other.
No. These corporations are the ones that did it.
There's no point to us sitting around arguing, you don't have a mask on, or you don't this, or you don't that. That's just our bullshit online culture trying to rear its ugly head again, where everybody wants to anonymously bitch at somebody else. I don't have time for all these little piss ants in my life anymore. If you ain't strong enough to come and tell me the same shit to my face that you got to say to me online, I don't want to hear it. Because you ain't nothing but a piece of shit to me. Just trying to start problems because you get off on it. You know what I do to trolls? I kick them right the fuck off the bridge. That's what I do. Ask anybody who's watched me get into an online war with anybody. It takes about 10 minutes for me to be done and send these motherfuckers crying back the other way. Because I don't play. I'll say shit to you that will hurt your heart. Because it will remind you that what you're doing is not helping anybody. It's just making you feel like you won something. Probably because you're the kind of person who's never won anything but participation trophies your whole life. So you take your whining and your bitching and your bullshit on down the line, because I ain't got time for you. I deal with real people that are trying to live, not whiny bitches that are trying to stay home and cry. Because you whiny bitches won't survive if the world burns down all the way. You ain't got the strength. All you can do is cry, baby. And mommy can't save you forever. I'll tell you the same thing I would have told that little asinine so-called thief had I caught up to him last night. You only mean as much to me as the effort you put forth. And if the effort you put forth is detrimental to the entirety of this planet, then I would rather see you removed. That's my personal opinion. Because it's not one color of person holding us back. It's more one class of person holding us back.
And they've been doing it for thousands of years.
And I hate to be an ageist on this, because it's not all old people. I got grandparents, they aren't like that.
So do I.
But I will say we are being held back by aging politicians who refuse to let their viewpoints change no matter how much data is put forth in front of them. And it's time these people were removed. Not necessarily killed, but removed from their positions of power. And you know what? While we're on that subject, we shouldn't pay for them to retire after they leave either. Because I don't know where they get this whole we gotta pay them for the rest of eternity. No. Because they were in politics once.
No, you're a public servant.
But yet you and I don't know whether Social Security is even going to exist for another couple of years, especially with all these payouts they're giving everybody. Social Security probably be dead on arrival the next time the bill comes up. So if normal people don't get Social Security, politicians that have been paid millions for the course of decades should get nothing. They should get their gold watch and sent on their fucking way. Like they did to so many factory workers that didn't have shit after they were sent away. That's exactly what should happen. Goodbye, Senator. Thank you for your 20 years of service. Now get the fuck out so we can have some fresh ideas, please.
Oh, and don't forget the corporations, dear.
And since it's these same old politicians that elected all the current blind justices, I think it's time they were removed too. The laws that they put forth now are nothing but discriminatory. There is no justice in the halls of justice. Therefore, it is time to either see the poison in those halls removed or those halls burnt to the ground. It's time for justice to come back into this world. the real one, not the blind one. Because justice is not blind. It sees everything. Justice knows where wrong exists. But the court system does nothing but support wrong people as tax evaders and businesses that rip money from their own countries, move it to other countries so that they don't have to pay taxes on it, and then beg for corporate bailouts from the country that they were avoiding paying extra money in, get money, while you and I have to suffer and wait and see.
Well, not even that. They've also polluted this planet, killed millions of people through, the opioid epidemic, and endless wars. What else?
A reliance on an ancient oil system that will destroy this planet if we keep doing it.
Fracking.
A reliance on vile methods of mass farming that are hazardous to the planet and everything that we farm on it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with farming, but factory farming, that is disgusting. Not only do the animals suffer, but the planet is suffering.
Yep.
And what, for corporate greed? We waste more food than we fucking need.
Ladies and gentlemen, they pay more money every year to worry about a man who already has more money than you and I and all of us will ever see. That'd be Bill Gates. They pay more money each year because of what he wants done than they will ever do for you, me, or the rest of the world for free. Because they don't care about you and me. They never did.
They never will.
That's what happens when you put greedy psychopaths in power. This is what happens when you take the people who lust for power and say, yeah, you should have power. That's your stupidity. You put them there. You left them there, and you let them do this to you. So I don't want to hear, oh, that's somebody else. No, it ain't. I'll tell you right now, if there was an actual combined unified force of people that was going to go rip all these people out of their positions of power, I'd join you. I'd be there. Goat mask, title belt, and all. You ready for a real protest? Wait until something that looks damn near like the devil is down there protesting with a flaming baseball bat. Wait until something that truly scares you is down there. And you realize that this is what's hiding underneath people, just waiting to be let out. Because we're all feeling like this. We'd all rather see justice at any cost than let these people continue to burn this world down around us while we do nothing.
And even if you don't believe that, you should be fucking pissed.
And if you're scared, you got right to be scared. This is a dangerous time to live in. If you asked a Christian, this is the end of the book. That whole chip in the hand thing is one of the last things they write about in that book before it's all fucked.
You know, I've always wondered why people continuously march towards this end. Like it's like they want it. Like they're trying to fulfill
like it's
some
predestined.
sort of
Like they want to fulfill the end of that book. Like they don't believe there's another way. Like they don't believe that humanity was capable, created, if they were created that way, that they're capable of doing more than what's written down.
I believe humans are capable of doing such amazing things.
And if you don't believe in that shit, and you believe solely in science, then why would you not stand up for what you know is going to kill us all? Every major scientist that's bought out to go do scientific testing on the new drug of the day and knows that the planet's being burnt down, but, you know, they got to make a paycheck every day, you are responsible. Your complacency makes you responsible. And when the world burns down, it's on your hands too. Because I'll tell you from somebody that knows what hell looks like, when you get there, you don't get to make excuses for why there's blood on your hands. You get to pay for it. So keep writing that check, because I know some things that can't wait to cash it. You want Armageddon? You'll get Armageddon. But what about after that? What about when the planet's burnt down and humanity ceases to exist? Is that the legacy you want? Is that what you want to leave behind for whatever comes after us? Memories of a bunch of idiots who burnt their world down while they did nothing?
Planet will be fine, but we probably won't be.
If that's what you want, just keep going along the road you're going. Just keep letting them do whatever they want. Just keep not making them pay for it. Just keep letting justice be blind. Because as long as justice is blind, you will see no justice. That's what it means. It doesn't mean justice can't see you. It means you can't see it. Like fucking John Cena.
Oh God, why John Cena? No, don't bring it.
Because you can't see it. The John Cena of justice, you can't see it at all. Most people wouldn't even know what justice looks like anymore. Fair treatment for all people, regardless of color, nationality, religion, all that shit.
There's a lot of people who believe
that's seemingly impossible, isn't it? Somebody that could look at a person and just see a person and base it off the situation and their actions rather than what they look like or how they dress or what they believe in. Oh my God, what an amazing concept. But if you tried to take that concept into the halls of Congress, they'd laugh at you. Because they themselves are lost in that mindset. They are fucking greedy psychopaths. Don't let psychopaths get you killed. Do something about it that matters. Stop attacking the suburbs and people that have no effect on your life. Because stop attacking things just because things are close and there and you're mad. Take all your anger, consolidate it, and focus it at your targets. Because they deserve it. Because if you don't show them justice now, then you have to wait and hope that they get it after. It's not really a thing you should have to hope too hard for. But I think they deserve it now. And I think everybody else deserves a chance to live.
Well, if we don't stop this, we're all gonna fucking die.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if you
if we all die, it doesn't matter how nice you were.
Whether or not you believe global warming exists, it doesn't fucking matter because they've polluted our planet in so many other fucking ways.
Whatever. What happens when it's not the global warming that kills you, it's the world prison state. Where everybody's being tracked 24/7, and if you don't do exactly what they say all the time, you can't live. What happens when freedom is an ancient concept that no longer has meaning?
Either way.
Yeah. What happens when they look at the concept of freedom like they did the concept of ritualistic human sacrifice that the Aztecs and shit did back in the day as an ancient concept that just, it's gone now. We don't do that anymore. What happens when human sacrifice and freedom are on the same list as gone from humanity?
Well, we're headed right down towards there.
So, you dumbasses who spend your time arguing about, this motherfucker's not wearing a mask, oh my God. Take that anger and focus it on something constructive. Or be ready and literally look yourself in the mirror, look your family, your friends in the face, and tell them, the world is going to burn down and I'm going to watch. Because if you're not ready to say that to yourself and everybody else, then fucking do something about it. Stop sitting there waiting to see what happens. You're no better than these shithead politicians. And if you don't have the strength, then maybe it's time for the rest of you to get behind somebody who does have a set of fucking balls. I'm not necessarily saying that's me. But I'm saying, if it ain't me, then find somebody with a fucking set and stand behind them. Stop whining like little bitches. Stop waiting for rich people to pay you off. Do something that matters.
Because the rich people aren't gonna fucking help
and
you.
find you a fucking psychopath of your own. Somebody that's even crazier than they are. Because that's the only way you're gonna stop all these crazy people, is with somebody even crazier than they are. That's why most people elected Trump. They thought he was gonna be crazy enough to get the job done. And what'd they call that? Drain the swamp?
I think so.
And the only people he ever drained was people who got too used to what he was doing and didn't like it. He never actually got rid of the old senators. Even the Democrats that he hated so much. He didn't get rid of any of them.
Well, Nancy Pelosi's still in office.
All the people that they hate, they're still there. There was no swamp that was drained. Everything else that he promised, he actually went after. He built part of a wall, and you know, he went straight after immigration, and he did all those other things he promised to his voters so that he could get voted back in on this next term. And he's still fighting to try and keep an image up by pushing against everybody that says, no, we should just keep waiting on the stimulus check. Trump's the only one that's like, no, I want to be elected. Fuck you. We're putting the stimulus check out because they will hate me if I don't do that.
Well, and he doesn't want to be like President Hoover, not saying he didn't do enough. And I totally understand.
No, he wants everybody else to take the blame for that. When it comes election time, he wants everybody else to take the blame for waiting and seeing. And they are to blame for ever even introducing that concept. Every Republican senator or representative and all these fucks who think that all the poor people should just roll over and die so they can save a few bucks. I'd say all those people ought to go to the houses of these people, since they live in D.C. and they don't actually reside in the senatorial palaces that they have in their own states most of the time, and deal with those houses personally. Maybe once the senator's house is burning down, he'll realize that people aren't fucking with him no more.
Maybe. Apparently Illinois sued their governor for basically, what was it, draconian laws?
They sued that asshole for fucking abuse of power. They sued him because during the pandemic, he decided that he was going to be the state overlord. And whereas all senators and the state representatives and all this, they were all putting out, you know, guidelines, senatorial guidelines for wearing masks and staying 6 feet apart, and all the basics that are the same generally everywhere. But the Illinois guy, he was giving cops the right to fuck with people and heavy ass fines for fucking being out in public at certain times of day, and fucking heavy fines for not wearing a mask in not just like in stores, but if you were caught like out in front of your own house without a mask on, the cops could stop and fuck with you about it. Just ridiculous shit. Meanwhile, this asshole's out going and visiting zoos nobody else can visit, wandering his tubby ass around the zoo like an 8-year-old. I'm telling you, look up the picture of the fucking Illinois governor. Oh my God. I swear I could win an election just as a popularity contest against this asshole, because he looks like the rotten fat kid who got bullied his whole life and then got power, and now he's bullying everybody else. And I'm not to say that I might not find myself in a similar situation were I ever elected to such a position, but at least I'd have people around me that would go, hey, could you not be a dick for just like 5 seconds? The people will turn on you.
It's some Marie Antoinette shit.
It's like all anybody really needs is that one advisor that's strong enough to look at them, and for whatever reason, whether it's the person you're close to or one of your personal advisors, one of your friends, whatever, you need that one person that'll look at you and go, look, I need to draw a line for you right here because you are going too goddamn far. And if you don't have that, you end up like these senators and like Trump. You just, how did the Joker put that? You just do things?
No, but Trump has advisors to tell him not to do
well, yeah, but he
crazy.
don't listen to any of them. He don't trust any of them.
Well, I don't blame him.
They're all people he hired in to do what he told them to do. They're not actually there to advise them. They're there to play yes men. And that's why every time they don't play yes man, they get fired. He's like, I heard you said no to somebody. You're fired. Trump misses The Apprentice is what it is. He hates it. He sits there for like 2 weeks. He's like, man, I gotta fire somebody. It's like, there's no cameras around, but damn, I gotta fire somebody. He just misses it. He misses that part of business where it was his way or the highway. Because in the political lifestyle, you can't do that. Your way or the highway makes you a dictator.
Yeah,
and if there were no other reason for Americans to revolt already, if anybody, state leader or federal leader or otherwise, decided they were going to become senior dictator, then basically the whole country will be on fire in a matter of weeks. Because we, the American people, do not approve. We, the American people, do not agree with this evaluation of how we have to live. And I'm telling you this on my behalf and on the behalf of, I'm sure, tens of millions of people across the United States of America. We will not allow you to just keep fucking us over, enriching yourselves, and acting like that's the only choice we have. Because whether we all like it or not, there is one other choice. It's not our favorite choice. But if we have to, we will burn down you, everything you own, and everyone you've ever cared about. We will not fuck with you. But I'm going to the other people who are considering this, remember, target identification. Do not go after the innocent. Do not go after the local business owner. They did not hurt you. They cannot stand in your way. Go after what matters. And teach these people that they're either going to do what's right or they're going to suffer the consequences. Because justice is not blind. It does not matter how much smoke is in the eyes from the world being on fucking fire. Because I can see what justice looks like. I can see a world where we don't need a BLM movement anymore. Because there is no longer an allowance for people to abuse their power and kill people of any color. I can see a world where we can turn slowly, progressively away from our dependence on oil and onto things that can actually help this planet heal instead of continue to kill it. And I can see a world where no matter what you believe religiously, politically, or otherwise, we can find a common ground and agree on the things that matter most.
Agree to disagree.
No, not even worry about what we disagree about. Focus on the things we all know need to be done. You know, saving our planet. We know it needs to be done. We don't want to admit that it's as big a deal as it is. But we all know it needs to be done. They need somebody to stand up there and go, look, this needs to be done before anything else. I don't give a fuck about how much it costs. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. You know, they need somebody, you want a president? You need a president that's ready to write some executive orders, even if it gets it shot. You need another John F. Kennedy. You need another guy who doesn't give a damn how long he lives, so long as he gets something done while he's alive.
Yep.
What did that man do the whole time he was president? Fucked hot bitches, lived like a king, and did everything he could to try and fuck over the corporate estate.
Yeah, he tried to get us back.
And what happened? He got shot for it, and he knew he was going to get shot for it. I'm sure he was probably told tons of times before it happened, you better stop this shit or you're going to die. And he did it anyway. Why? Because he had balls. And progression meant more to him than his life did. Martin Luther King Jr. I can't say much about the original Martin Luther because he wasn't born in my nation. I don't have detailed factual history of his entire existence the way I do Jr. But Martin Luther King Jr. knew that they were going to kill him. And he still stood up for what was right. And he still marched back and forth and busted his ass every day because he knew what was right, even though he knew they were going to kill him for it. If you can't be like them, then maybe your opinion doesn't matter. If all you are is a whiny bitch behind a keyboard, and if it came down to revolution, you'd just sit there and wait to see who wins like a bitch, then don't like at me. Don't comment at me. Don't send me a friend request. I don't want nothing to fucking do with you. You are the useless reason why we are where we are now. Because shitheads like you vote. I'm tired of dealing with stupid people. Stupid people have us where we are now, where we're too busy arguing over masks to see what's actually going on. Come on, people, wake the fuck up. Are you really so asleep that I have to walk up and slap each one of you individually?
Maybe.
Is it really that much? Is shaking not enough? Is the world burning and the smell of ash in your nostrils not enough to wake you up? Do I have to walk up and slap each one of you in the face? Because I will. If that's really what you need, at me. Bring your ass to where I'm at and I will do it I will smack the shit out of you on video. So the whole world can see it. For being a fucking moron. You talk about Tyrone running around smacking the cigarettes out of people's hands? No, I'll walk up and smack somebody from truth.com in the face and say, I'd like to hear the truth for 5 seconds, not just your viewpoint. Walk up and smack a politician in the mouth, knowing I'm going to get arrested, and say, I demand that you tell the truth for one day and quit lying to the populace about everything. And you know, if we all work together, we could make them stop. There is enough force left, even in the weakest of you motherfuckers, to get up and fight back. You might not think it's there anymore, but what you really need to do is go reconnect with that part of yourself that never really died in you, but was kind of dulled down by TV and Facebook and video games and everything else. It dulled down that part in you that just can't sit still while something wrong is going on in your life. You need to reconnect with that. Once you find that, you won't be afraid anymore. They can't scare you. Yeah, they got guns. Yeah, they got armor. I'm ex-military. There's ways around everything.
The only thing that these people are afraid of is us. They're afraid of us uniting.
They know what we can do together, all of us, and that's why they continuously find ways to keep us separated. Oh, well, this is only about black people, or this is only about this group of people, or this is only about these people from this nation. No! It's time for us all to admit that, how does that saying go? An injustice for anyone is an injustice for everyone.
I think that's how it goes. I don't know.
And injustice anywhere is injustice anywhere. It doesn't matter what your name is. It doesn't matter who you were born to or where. It doesn't matter what those people taught you to believe in or what you choose to believe in on your own. You are still human. And I would treat you like any other human just based off your actions. But the people who don't want to act, you don't mean anything to me. The people who don't want to try, who don't want to strive for a better world because you're too weak, fuck off. And stay fucked off. Take your ass in the house and don't come back out. Don't not stay 6 feet away from me. Stay as many miles away from me as you can possibly fucking get. Put yourself on a desert fucking island and never speak to anybody again. Because that's what you deserve if you have no willpower. And if you do still have some willpower, if somewhere deep down inside you there's still a set begging to drop, then now's the time. Before everybody's dead or locked up, before nobody has the will or the strength to fight back anymore, now's the time. Because if you wait, it's not just about whether or not you'll fight. You won't win.
Yeah, because the first step is going to take out the strong people.
You wait till everybody's got those chips in their hands to try to fight back, and they can track every single one of you by name, by genetic information, and know exactly who's participating in what. They've already been trying to demonize fucking protesters when it was first starting, before everything started burning. They were trying to demonize and track everybody and go arrest them at home.
Oh yeah, they started.
So wait until you got a chip in your hand and they know exactly who you are and exactly where your home is. You just wait. Yeah, keep waiting and seeing, dumbasses. Because that's how Armageddon's going to come for you. Because you're too stupid to stop it. The story can change. Every story can change. All it takes is a couple lines being rewritten and an entire story can change. Maybe those are the couple lines we need to change, where that thing never happens. Where people stand up and say, no, I would kill you first. I know a bunch of people that I've talked to in person that say, no, I'd rather die. And I'd rather shoot anybody in the face that tried to put that thing in me before I'd ever take that thing in my hand. Or in my head, or in my arm, or wherever the fuck they try to put it.
Back of the neck, whatever.
Whatever. Doesn't matter where the chip goes. It's the same fucking thing. It's just the reference point. It's easiest in the hand because then you can wave it underneath scanners and stuff.
Yeah, super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Exactly. This is how they'll market it to people. It'll make your life so much easier. You can run your whole home security system and unlock your house just by waving your hand in front of it. It's like, yeah, when you're lazy, it does make life easier.
Yeah, if you don't get that reference, you really should go check out, what is it, Screen Rant? You should go give Ryan George a wave.
What a world we live in. And I'm sorry that there are so many fucking stupid people out there. But that doesn't mean everybody's like that. personally, I believe most of the people that would listen to this particular podcast are at least in consideration of not being a fucking dumbass. If not better than that.
Well, if you're here, that means you're thinking.
Again, at least trying not to be stupid. The process of thinking is the attempt to not be a fucking tard.
Well, it takes time for people to wake up.
And I don't care. You at me about, oh, you're insulting. No, I'm not talking about the actually mentally retarded. I'm talking about intentionally stupid people. Not stupid by birth. Stupid by choice. So, don't at me with your whining. Again, I don't want to hear it. Trust me, if you leave me fucked up comments underneath this video, whining and bitching about something, you'll get a response. But it ain't going to be the one you want. Because I have no problem tearing down weak-willed, whiny bitches. Whether in this world or any other. So, is there anything else we need to talk about? World on fire. We've done talked about the actual world on fire. We've done talked about it politically. We've done talked about it in terms of people's wallets and their houses and stuff being fucked up. We've done talked about so many different things. Is there anything else?
Ranted and raved enough for today's episode.
Fine.
I don't know if people can handle too much more.
Shit. By the time we record the next episode, there could be 12 more things wrong with the world that it's time to talk about. Who knows, man? Are we gonna start placing bets? Like, are we going to have a big wall like there was in that one movie with the horror monsters, except instead of that, it's different ways?
Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah, are we gonna get the big board of different ways that the world could end, and everybody's going to start throwing down bets and picking which one it's going to be?
I don't know.
Prison state, fucking super volcano, environmental collapse, fucking, and then, well, isn't a super volcano an yes, but environmental collapse and super volcano are different bets.
Well, environmental collapse could be caused by any number of things, so then you'd even have to specify that. Was it caused by humans? Did an asteroid fucking hit us?
But that was the joke in the movie, remember? There was the one guy who always bet on the same thing, and it was that thing, but it was a different version of that thing that was a different bet.
You gotta be specific.
This is what I'm saying. Are we to that point now where in every group of friends you should get the fucking whiteboard out and everybody start throwing their bets down on how the world's going to end?
I don't know. We're already playing the world's greatest hits.
I know. We've got plagues coming back. We got fucking
Great Depressions on the way.
We've put all the greedy idiots in power, which is nothing but a repeat of a repeat of a repeat.
All we need now is a fucking meteor.
But that wasn't our greatest hits. That happened before us.
That's true. Ours was a solar flare. If we were on the grid back then, oh shit.
Oh, let's fry. Flash fry.
Well, no, all of our electronics would be down. There'd be no phone service, no internet.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
sewage.
It wouldn't be human beings. It would be society that got flash fried.
It'd be
the concept of society amongst human beings would be damn near dead.
But let's not dwell on those things. It's time to sign off.
It hasn't happened yet. In the meantime, fucking do something about it. We can stop it. I wish I could do more stuck here in this car, but here I am still recording this podcast, telling everybody out there who has any more ability to affect change than I do right now, fucking do something about it. You want to be a hero? You want to be a legend? You want to be written about in history books? There have to actually be history books. So how about we stop it, and then there'll be heroes to write about. Because if we don't, we all die. And I don't know about you, but if I lived all these years and all this bullshit to just die for somebody else's greed, I think I'm going to be pissed off when I do. So with that being said, this has been Crossin' and Waffles. Welcome to an interesting new season where we don't pull punches. And I'm not going to be nice anymore because I'm tired of being nice to people that are too stupid to listen. Thank you for listening, those non-stupid people out there who took the time. And we'll see you next time.
This has been Crossin' and Waffles.
And good luck, ladies and gentlemen, crossing the spaces between. They're all on fire now.